Hey, what's going on guys? Jolts here, back with another build video, and today we're going to be going over Seein double Zane. The build has been updated for level 65, and it makes all the content in the game kind of a joke. The focus of the build is going to be using the clone, and as you might know, the clone gets Mayhem scaling, so when you give them very powerful guns, things will just melt. Now for the main setup, I do use the clone and the drone, but you can also use the barrier if you want to use it too, but that is your choice. Anyways, if you want to download the save for yourself, I will link it in the description. That save will be in PC format, so it's only going to work on PC. As for console, sorry guys, there's no way to convert from PC to console at the moment, but maybe in the future we'll get that option. Alright, let's jump into the build. For the build, you want to look for the Sentinel Cryo Anoint, and just because of how the math works, you do want to go for that. Another okay choice is using consecutive hits, and for the splash weapons, use Action Skill and Splash. Now we are using some DLC stuff, but if you don't have DLC, I will recommend alternatives. First up, we have the Light Show. It's a really high DPS weapon. It shoots out a lot of pellets and has a high fire rate. If you don't have DLC, I do recommend using the Monarch. Next up, the Bloodstar Beast. Now, back in the day, the Redistributor used to be the meta on Zane, but as you know, it kinda dropped off and is not as good as it used to be after Mayhem 10. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still works, but not as good as it used to back in the day. So the replacement's gonna be the Bloodstar Beast. Now, if you don't have DLC, there's a few other options. You can still use the Redistributor, the Chaosin, the Smog. Any of those SMGs are still pretty good too. We have the Sandhawk, and now the Sandhawk is ammo hungry, but it puts out ridiculous damage. Since your clone does have infinite ammo, that means they can spam this thing infinitely, and everything will die. Also, this gun combined with Violent Momentum is going to be great for you too. That means you can run around and shoot this thing for awesome damage. We have the Backburner, and this is going to be one of your main bossing or even mobbing weapons for your clone. Even without a good anoint on it, it still destroys everything in the game. Like I mentioned before, when you put this in the hands of your clone and the clone gets your Mayhem scaling, each shot's gonna do, no joke, around 100 million damage. For mobbing, I do recommend giving your clone always a shock one because the Backburner does friendly fire damage, so it would instantly down you. Also, it does splash damage, so it would instantly down your clone. To counter, you want to use the Transformer. That will make sure you never take shock damage and, regen your shield. Basically, if you give your clone a shock weapon like the Sandhawk or a Backburner, make sure it's shock and put on the Transformer. You gotta keep in mind that if enemies jump in your clone's face and he shoots them, he's gonna instantly wipe himself out. The Transformer counters that. We have the P-Nade with the Grenade Throw Anoint. You don't super need this, but it will be nice to get that extra damage. Also, your drone's gonna be throwing out grenades to debuff the enemy and activate the Anoint. Yeah, it is another Seein Dead build, but the thing is, the Seein Dead is so freaking good that no other class mod in the game can compete. Anyways, if you're not familiar, this thing will keep your kill skills active all the time. You shoot the enemy and you have a chance to activate kill skills. Because most of our weapons are going to be multi-pellet and high fire rate, all of your kill skills will be active and at max. Now, the one I have has 5 on Donnybrook, but you can roll whatever you want on it. The only thing I recommend is trying to get action skill damage on the passives. That will give your clone even more damage. As for a non-DLC alternative for the Seein Dead, there is really not a whole lot of options. I guess the best you could do is maybe the Antifreeze. That will boost up the Violent Momentum skill, and you can probably get a little more out of that. For the artifact, the Icebreaker Victory Rush. Now, you can use the Pearl of Knowledge, but with the way the math works, you're going to get more out of this. And because we're using Brain Freeze, enemies are going to be frozen if we hit a crit on them. That will activate our 45% damage bonus on them. The Icebreaker is for mobbing, but for bossing, you want a Snowdrift. It will allow you to slide really fast and get the most out of Violent Momentum. That skill is going to massively scale up your gun damage. I do want to point out, it doesn't have to be a Victory Rush. Snowdrift is the most important part on it. Some more light shows, the Execute. When you empty your magazine and chuck this at an enemy, it will debuff them by 50%. What's really cool is you can debuff them even more, and then the clone can shoot whatever and destroy your enemies. We have some Monarchs, and they're not a bad choice either. They put out high damage, but you gotta keep in mind, when you're in bipod mode, you lose a lot of damage out of Violent Momentum because you can't move fast. So you're actually gonna get a little bit more out of the Light Show over the Monarch. But if you don't have DLC, I do recommend the Monarch. We have the Eruption, and same thing as the Execute, so basically you break the gun and it shoots out humming pellets, and each pellet that hits will debuff the enemy by 20%. The Hellwalker. This thing got a massive buff recently, and it doesn't matter the character or the build, if you shoot this thing at an enemy, they're gonna feel it. Also, it is a pretty awesome weapon to give to your clone too. Some more Backburners, and we do have Plague Bearers too, but the thing about this is, it's not the craziest weapon for your clone. With this launcher, you want to shoot it overhead of the enemies, and the homing rockets will come down and destroy them. The thing about the clone is, he shoots it dead on the enemies, so you don't get the most out of it. It's still not a bad choice, but I still recommend the Backburner over the Plague Bearer. Low level plumage just for rocket jumping. You can also use the Ruby's Wrath too. That is going to be your non-DLC alternatives. some more Sandhogs, and a Faulty Star. Now, the Faulty Star is a good choice because the Novas that get reflected back get Mayhem scaling. So if an enemy shoots you, you're going to reflect it back. I do recommend a shotgun for breaking enemy shields, but it's not super needed because your drone's going to do that too. If you don't have DLC, you can use whatever you want. The Rerouter. This is not for me, this is for the clone. Your clone does get amp damage, so if your clone shoots the backburner with this on, you can one-shot most enemies and bosses in the game. We have the Hex, and this is a really good choice too. It does hit many times, which is going to activate the Seein Dead's kill skills. So this will keep your kill skills up. And we already showed that off, so let's go ahead and go over the skill tree. We have the Sentinel with the Bad Dose and a Static Field Augment. Bad Dose will give you extra movement speed and fire rate, and will reduce enemies' movement and attack speed. Static Field's going to be for breaking shields and regenning yours. For the skills, we have Violent Speed. When you get a kill, you get movement speed. Remember, we're using the Seein Dead, so this is going to be active all the time. Violent Momentum. This will be most of your damage on Zane. Basically, the faster you move, the more damage you get. Now, it doesn't say the max, but you can bring it up to like almost 1000%. Keep in mind that your movement's not going to influence the clone's damage. Cool Hand. When you get a kill, you get more reload speed. Again, it is a kill skill, so with the Seein Dead comm, active all the time. Drone Delivery. The Sentinel will throw grenades. With the P-Nade, it will debuff enemies and activate the Grenade Throw Anoint. Only 1 point in Salvation, that's all you need. When you get a kill, you get Lifesteal. And you already know what's up with the Seein Dead comm, active all the time. Death Follows Close. That will give you more kill skill bonuses and duration. Violent Violence. When you get a kill, you get more fire rate. Seein Dead comm, active all the time. Plain Dirty. When you get a kill, you have a chance for extra projectiles. Now, only 1 point here because most of our weapons are multi-pellet, so adding 1 extra pellet on the Light Show or the Monarch or something, it's not going to increase your damage by a whole lot. Yeah, it's worded a little weird, so when you get a kill, you have a 15% chance to make your next 5 shots have 1 extra pellet. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, we're going to shoot Jack a few times until we get it, so let's see, did not get it. There it is. Okay, all the way on the right side, you can see 5. That means my next 5 shots are going to have an extra pellet. Yeah, you can see the number go down. Good Misfortune, only 1 point here. When you get a kill, you get action skill duration. Now, we're using the Seein Dead, so as long as we're shooting bullets, we're going to stay full duration. And finally, Seein Red. Activating your action skills will give you all of your kill skills. Now, a lot of people think this skill is pointless, but it's really not. It's a really good startup for entering an area for mobbing. So instead of having to shoot the enemy a few times to get all of my skills, I could just walk into an area and be at max stacks. Alright, for Orange Tree, we have the Clone, Doppelbanger, and which one's real. For Doppelbanger, I can destroy my clone on demand. And this is really useful in case you're done mobbing an area and you run to another area. You don't want to teleport all the way back to your clone to get the clone into the next area. Also, you can kill off your clone to activate action skill and anoints, and that will be really good for your launchers. For which one's real, when you summon your clone or swap places, enemies are going to focus on you less. For the skills, we have Synchronicity. For each active action skill, you're going to have bonus gun damage. Premunitus, that will give you bonus mag size. Borrowed Time. You have longer action skill duration for every action skill. Donnybrook. When you get a kill, you and your clone get bonus gun damage and health regen. Seein Dead, active all the time. Now, Fractal Frags is not really all that great because what's going to happen is your clone's going to stop shooting and throw your grenade. Because of that, you're actually losing valuable DPS with your clone. I don't recommend this skill. Duct Tape mod is not really a bad choice, but it's a really small chance, and I prefer to put the points into Premunitus to move down the tree. Plus, our drone's already throwing grenades, so we don't super need this. We have Quick Breather. When you swap places with your clone's gonna heal and get shield back. Pocket full of grenades. When you get a kill, you get grenade regen. This will be active all the time thanks to the Seein Dead comm. Now, if you want to stay at full grenades, you only need 1 point here, and this will also synergize with the Boom Enhance skill, but we'll get to that in just a second. Now we have Old You. When you go on a fight for your life, you can kill off your clone and get a second wind. What's really cool about this is you can actually use it with Roguelite. The Roguelite Mayhem modifier means if you go on a fight for your life, you're just gonna die off. But if you spam this skill as soon as you're going down, you can get a second wind. Just to show it off, we have Roguelite, you can see here. So we're gonna summon our clone. We're gonna go down. We're gonna spam Old You, and check it out. Boom, second wind. We have Supersonic Man. For each active action skill, you're gonna have more movement speed, Boom Enhanced. If you summon your clone, you're gonna consume 3 grenades. That means your clone's gonna get 60% gun damage, 243% bonus HP, 15% fire rate, 93% reload speed, and 75% more duration. Remember, we're always regenerating grenades, which means this is gonna be maxed out. Finally, for Orange, we have Double Barrel. That will give your clone a copy of your gun, and if you swap places, you get 25% more gun damage for you and your clone. Alright, now for Green Tree, if you are using Barrier, you can put that on. And we're going to be using Charge Relay and All-Rounder. Charge Relay is only active if the barrier is on the floor, and that will give you more reload speed and movement speed. So basically, when you toss down your barrier, you activate it once, but once you pick up the barrier, it doesn't reactivate. And we have All-Rounder. The barrier will be a dome and protect you from all sides. Also, by default, the barrier will increase your gun damage. Now, a lot of people actually don't know about this, but you can also increase your clone's damage. Now, it's only 25%, so it's not super worth it for the clone, but if you want to go for the cool boss one-shots, you can. I do want to throw this in here, so when the barrier is down, you don't actually have to stand inside of it. As long as you shoot through it, you're going to amp the shot. That goes for you and your clone. Alright, we have Ready for Action, more recharge rate, and less delay. And this will be really good for your Faulty Star Shield or getting the most out of Topped Off. With Topped Off, the Guardian rank skill, when your shield is full, you get 50% more cooldown. That is a lot. Brain Freeze. When you hit a crit, you have a chance to freeze the enemy. This is really good because 1, it'll stop the enemy from attacking you, and 2, you get the bonus damage from the Icebreaker prefix on your artifacts. Finally, we have Confident Competence. When you have shield, you're going to have bonus gun damage and accuracy. Alright, that's it for these skill trees, so let's go ahead and show off the build. We're on Mayhem 10, here's the modifiers I have, and I do recommend getting Speed Demon to get the most out of the Violent Momentum skill. So let's give our clone the Sandhog, and because we're using a Transformer, that means if enemies jump in my face, if enemies jump in my clone's face, he won't kill himself. And as you can see, even though the clone is not even matching elements, shock on flash, he is still destroying everything. So in most cases, I do recommend giving your clone the Sandhawk or the Backburner. But again, you can give him whatever you want. Alright, next area, which means, let's kill off the clone. I don't want to teleport all the way back. And let's wait for the cooldown. The clone's cooldown with Topped Off is really not that long. And we already got it back, there we go. Let's give him the Light Show. Not bad damage, and also your clone can activate Brain Freeze too. And remember, I can run around and kill stuff too, it's not just my clone. So the Bloodstar Beast, you can see here, is quite the beast. No pun intended. You want to keep moving to get the most out of Violent Momentum. That is going to massively increase your gun damage. Now, if you want pure chaos, give your clone the Backburner. Check it out. Ready for this? Here we go. Yeah, 5 million, 13 million. It's a little bit overkill. And you can only imagine what happens when you fight a boss. Speaking of boss, let's go ahead and take on Tron. Now for Tron, there's many ways you can boss. You can either have your clone kill them, or you kill them, or you and your clone kill them. So let's go ahead and do a clone kill first. We're going to do, clone and... how about barrier? Give the clone bonus amp. Proceed forward. And if you want to go complete overkill, put on your rerouter too. Okay, so barrier. Clone with the Backburner. And this should be a one-shot. There it goes, it comes down, and he is dead. Quite easy. This time, I want to go for a kill, so Sentinel, and we're going to kill off the clone to activate our action skill and Splash. What else do we need here? Snowdrift. So we're going to do that. Place our clone. We're going to kill off the clone using the Doppelbanger. Oop. There we go. We're going to fall down. Okay, wait for this. And slide into Tron. Shoot. And he is dead. Remember, the more speed you have, the more you get from Violent Momentum. That will massively increase your gun damage. Alright, now for Grave Ward, we're going to do the barrier. Give the clone a fire Backburner. And I'm just going to do, I guess, the worm. Why not? Not much I can really do. And your boss is... dead. There you go. Now again, you can help out your clone if you want to use the execute, so let's go ahead and chuck these. And debuff the Grave Ward. And see if you can get, like, the one-shot kill. It falls down. Okay, there it is. That works. You can use whatever weapon you want. It doesn't really matter for the clone. So this time, Fire Sandhawk, we're gonna start debuffing. And you should start shooting pretty quick here. There it goes. Oh, is he too far away? Nope, there we go. Cool. Eye falls over. He's a little bit far away for the Sandhawk, but even then, you can see it's doing pretty good work. Got him. Alright, I think you guys get the point now. This build is a lot of fun. Really not that hard to use. All you gotta do is keep shooting, and you will never die. And with that said, I think we're gonna call it there. So if you do want to download it for yourself, I will link it in the description. And again, that save is in PC format. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, then please be sure to leave a like, because that'd be awesome. And if you guys really enjoyed it, be sure to sub. You guys have a great day, and I will see you all later. Peace out.